Hey guys, this is Camper 15 back on Camper 15 Talk Sports, and we are finally here with the conclusion of the NBA season. We have now a NBA champion for the 2021-2022 NBA season, and that is the Golden State Warriors defeating the Boston Celtics 4 games to 2. And my uncle has the background image of the Warriors right there. So again, I'm joined by my Uncle Darrell, who is on pretty much most of my sports videos. And then I'm also joined by my co-host down there, Matt Swormstedt, who's an old college friend of mine. And we actually did an or MLB video, but because we've been busy with work, we haven't been able to get to that stuff. So I've just been talking Angels on my own and stuff like that. We just haven't been able to catch all the MLB games. But he's a Boston Celtics fan. So I wanted to bring him along, even though he might not be in the best of moods after the day after the Celtics lost the NBA Finals. I wanted to see his take and get his opinion of where he thinks the Celtics went wrong in the series and I guess how his comfort level is as of now. But I'll say for my thoughts on this NBA Finals, I thought it was a really good NBA Finals going 6 games. I thought it was going to go the distance, especially starting early on in that game 6, because it looked like Boston was just going to run away. But then Golden State did what Golden State does to best, and they just go on these runs. And then by the time it was like 60-39, the game just felt out of reach. And there was always times where Boston tried to claw its way back in the game, but then it was more than likely Steph Curry that hit a three or some random player on the Warriors that hit a three that just expanded the lead and just kept Boston just away. Everything. There was really nothing Boston could have done because it's the same thing in basketball. If you get down big amount of numbers where you're down like almost 20 points, it takes a lot out of you as a team to try to get back to taking the lead and everything. And it also didn't help. We'll go into more factors as well, but it also didn't help that Jason Tatum, he absolutely no-showed in game 6. He only had 13 points and it was only 5 of 18 from the field, if I'm correct. But in all honesty, he didn't really do anything this entire series. It was kind of really Jaylen Brown that was kind of carrying the Celtics alongside a few other players. Probably I would say their second best player was Al Horford, in my opinion. Those were to the two best players, and you would think Jason Tatum's got to be better than 13 points. But the one thing I guess the Celtics can get out of this is they got good valued experience of making the NBA Finals. And if they ever do get a chance to make it back onto the NBA Finals, they'll be a lot more prepared for the second go around. If that ever happens, we'll see in the years to come. Because Boston has a bright future. But those are my initial thoughts on the NBA Finals. I'm going to move it over to my Uncle Darrell.
Um, I say Warriors in 7. Um, but for me, the 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 playoffs are about, you can really tell who's pretty much the most valuable. And for me, the most valuable player in this entire series was Steve Kerr. Once he made those adjustments in game 4, it was a total wrap. It was a total wrap. He realized that the Boston Celtics were a right-handed ball club, so he structured his defense and taught them how to use their left. Unfortunately, the Celtics didn't learn much going left because they just continued to turn the basketball over. I think in game 6, they had like 20 turnovers halfway through 20 turnovers after 3 quarters. And that's ridiculous. Not in the NBA Finals game. You also learn a lot about Jason Tatum. And for me, from where I sit, Jason Tatum, unfortunately, I'm sorry. I always talk about number ones and number twos, but I didn't see a number one guy out of Jason Tatum. So unfortunately, they need to get some work done for Jason Tatum. When everything after game 4 was all about the Warriors. There was nothing that Boston could do once they got steamrolled. There was nothing Boston can do. When Steph Curry had 16 points and they still won by 10 in game 5, I mean, for the most part, that was it. There was nothing they can do. I mean, they were highly energetic to come out in front of their home fans, but an experienced basketball club like Golden State, they know that, yeah, that was your best shot. You hit us, but now once we hit you back, that was it. They hit him, they steamrolled him with that 21-0 run. And for the most part, Boston just played shell shook. I mean, this is their first NBA Finals. They desperately need a point guard. They need a point guard bad. I'm talking about a cat like, Chris Paul, LaMelo Ball, Samson, Ball. They need someone that can orchestrate an offense. They could not, they can't orchestrate. They couldn't orchestrate any offense whatsoever. They played isolation. The Warriors, they moved the basketball. They pretty much played hero ball. The Warriors did not dribble at all. They just pretty much passed the basketball and just moved. The Celtics were just shell shook. It was, but they're young. It was a really good experience for them, and even for Ime Udoka as well too. He got out coached in games, 4, 5, and 6. There was nothing he could do. There was absolutely nothing he could do. And everything that Steve Kerr did, he couldn't count him. He couldn't. So I think the main thing what they probably should get is a point guard, a true point guard, someone that can actually orchestrate offense to make sure people are in the right places. Marcus Smart tried too hard to do what Draymond did in games 1 through 3, which is appeal to the referees and that kind of stuff. That was just, and then he got in foul trouble. It was just, the Celtics were just, they were just out of their league in game 6. But at the same time, though, it was still overall, it was a good series. It wasn't the best series I've ever seen, but it was a really good hard-fought series. The Celtics should be proud of themselves for all the things that they have accomplished this basketball season, but clearly the Warriors were the better team.
You can go ahead, man.
Yeah, comes down to definitely a few things. I mean, Jason Tatum had 100 turnovers this postseason, the most by any player in NBA history. I mean, that is pathetic. That's not gonna be good enough ever.
Nope.
I mean, like you said, he got Udoka, who I love. I think he had a great year as a first-year head coach. He definitely got out-coached by Steve Kerr.
Yep.
I mean, I saw a stat, I think, before the finals that the Warriors had like 139 combined finals games, and the Celtics had 0.
Yep.
I mean, the experience comes down to hurt you. I mean, but Jaylen Brown or Al Horford Jason Tatum needs to show up.
Yep.
And he didn't show up. And I saw this thing on First Things First this morning. He's definitely not a superstar. He could be a star still, but he is not a superstar right now.
Yep.
And I don't want to hear he's 24. He's been in the league long enough. When you're in middle school, you can't turn the ball over. Yep. There's a stat that the Celtics had like 15 or less turnovers. They had like 2 losses this postseason. Anything more, they kept losing. I mean, and like you said, 23 3/4. I mean, I knew after that. I knew after the third quarter. I said to my buddies, if we get 16 or more turnovers, I said it, we're done. And
done. I think they had 19 or 20 at the end of 3.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was way too much.
And I don't know what to do. Like, I mean, you got to learn to dribble and hold on to the ball and be strong. I mean, Steph Curry was ripping the ball away from guys like Tatum and Brown, who should be way stronger than him.
Yep.
Way stronger than him. I mean, and Klay Thompson didn't even have a good series and we still lost.
Nope.
Klay Thompson really did not have a good series and we still lost. I mean, it's a good experience. Our main core's under contract for a little bit. Everyone's under 27 other than Al Horford. So definitely going to be a good experience for us. Definitely glad I didn't do this last night because I would have been really upset. It was a lot better doing it today because I would not have been so kind. But no, I mean, I do think we need a new point guard. Marcus, I mean, I love his tenacity and stuff, but he thinks he's Michael Jordan at sometimes. He just goes down there and shoots them. And I don't know what he's doing. I'm sitting here lost for words sometimes watching the game. Like, dude, what are you doing?
Yep.
So I do think we need a facilitator at point guard, but I'm still a believer in Jaylen Brown, and I still think Jason Tatum can become a superstar, but he has a lot of work to do. And the Celtics have a lot of work to do as a whole. Yep. Because it's not going to be easier. Middleton's coming back in the Eastern Conference. He'll be back for the Bucks. So it's not going to be any easier, but I also do think that very, very bright future for the Celtics.
Yeah.
And I don't think the Warriors championship window is closed either.
No.
I mean, when you have guys like that, everyone on that team, trust me, they can all shoot. And they are underrated defensively. They have a really good defensive team. Gary Payton's good out there. Otto Porter, they both play really good defense, actually.
Yeah.
And what's great about the Warriors is that they're great from the top down. I mean, so is Boston. I think one of the best moves that Boston made was moving Stevens up from the coach's box to the front office. That was a major play for Boston on that move. Danny Ainge, he had pretty much done all he could do. He did all he could do as an executive. And it was time to get some fresh blood up in there. And when Stevens got up in there, you can kind of see how things were starting to roll around for the Celtics as a franchise. Golden State, on the other hand, they're not done yet, but at the same time, things don't get easy from year to year. You know,
another thing about the Celtics too, I noticed they gave up so many seconds, like offensive rebounds, and they would kick it out, and then Steph Curry be wide open for three, or Jordan Poole. It's like that's unacceptable in the NBA Finals. That is totally unacceptable.
They lost their fight. They lost their fight. I mean, it was, you know, Tatum, you can tell Rob Williams were exhausted. He got sick and tired of be like, man, can y'all? I saw him. He was like, dude, can y'all just guard somebody?
Yeah,
he's having to leave everyone just to sit up so he can block shots because they couldn't stop dribble penetration.
No, not at all.
So it was just ridiculous. And Marcus Smart is trying to appeal to the referees. Dude, just play basketball.
Nothing about Tatum. He needs to stop complaining about calls. You need to get back and play defense. I saw it every time he's throwing his arms up. Dude, play defense. They're pushing the ball.
There was one play. I mean, he grabbed Andrew Wiggins, and Wiggins is like looking at the official like, dude, what you gonna do, man?
They got called offensive foul.
Had no choice but to call it. No choice. I'm like, dude, just play basketball. It's like you can tell that they're gearing, and this is where I fault Udoka. You can tell that they were taking away the right hand. If they're taking away the right hand, that's Kerr's move. And if this works, boom, he's just going to roll off victories like he did. Udoka never countered. He never countered. He just still pretty much said the same thing: play hard, play really good defense, and just don't turn the ball over. Okay, that's not good enough. He needed something structurally to do with the Celtics to counter the fact that the Warriors was, pretty much allowing them to only work from the left side of the floor, which they couldn't do. Thus, all the many turnovers.
Yeah, so that's where a facilitating point guard comes and helps us out.
Yep, that's where a facilitating point guard comes in.
I think.
Go ahead.
Also, a big turning point in the series was Game 5. We were up 74-72 with like 8 seconds left in the third quarter after the Warriors just went on an 8-0 run. And Jordan Poole hit like a half-court shot to end the quarter to go up by 1. And that's a big demoralizing thing. And the Celtics, I think they gave up like 2 or 3, like, end of the quarter, Game 5 or 4 shots. And you got to play defense and get the ball and not allow it to happen. That's demoralizing.
Yep. Yeah. It was too many things that, pretty much the Warriors did to counter what the Celtics were doing, so that the Celtics were feeling, man, what else do we have to do, man? Everything we throw at these guys, they come back and they hit us with something. I think it was all strategic, games 1, 2, and 3, the way they were playing, the way, especially Draymond Green, the way Draymond Green was playing, just to see what he could get away with, what he could do, especially after they won game 2. When they won game 2, that's when it was just like, okay, let me see what I can get away with. Let me see what we can get them to do, that we can probably see a chink in their armor or something like that. I don't know if you guys probably won't know this. Cam and your father would. Back when the Bulls won their first three-peat, it was Cliff Levingston. And he said, if we can adjust our game to match what you're doing, it's over. And Steve Kerr was a part of those Chicago Bulls championship teams. It was part of the second three-peat. So I know he's aware of that, which means when he made that adjustment in game 4 with the right hand, forcing these guys to go left, That was his coup de grace move. That was the one that was either going to make him or break him. And it made him because the Celtics just couldn't counter. They adjusted their team to match what the Celtics were doing, and it worked.
Yeah. And going back to the Jason Tatum thing, like I think his only efficient game he had was that game 5 game that they ended up losing where he turned the ball over that much because he had 27. He was 10 of 20 from the field. But other than that, he was shooting the ball fairly
well. Even at 27, the majority of that was late because I think they started out that 0 for 12 from the 3-point from 3-point range.
Yeah, and then we hit like our next 8 in a row or something after that.
Correct. And they didn't really start hitting threes until the third quarter.
The opposite of last night. We came out hot.
Right.
Just
flamed off.
Well, game 4 was the same way. They came out blazing. They came out blazing, and Steph Curry was like, "Oh man, the heck with this nonsense."
They get my confidence up, and I get all excited then.
Yeah,
because I was really worried that would have been the game that the Celtics were going to get going up. Now, if they had a 1 game 4 going up,
the series would have been over in 5.
The series would have been over. The series would have been over because but I mean, Steph Curry wouldn't let them lose.
Nope, and they always have those big third quarters.
Yep, those third quarters. Yep.
Yeah.
Hit them in every time. Well, they didn't have
game
a great
5,
third quarter in game 5.
Yeah, but at the end, they went on, like the last 90 seconds, they went on like an 11-0 run, and that kills you. Like, you can't
carried it over into the 4th.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, but to me, Jason Tatum ain't got no dog in him, man. He had just
no heart. No, you got to go out there. This is the NBA Finals.
I'm like, if you want to sit up here and evoke the ghost of Kobe Bryant, dude, you got to.
Kobe would have showed up.
You got to be a straight. I'm sorry, I know this is a video. You got to be a straight up killer. And
you do.
You do. I'm sorry, because Kobe Bryant was a stone cold killer.
He would have showed up.
He didn't care about you. He didn't care about your fans. He didn't care about where you was playing. If there was a game to be had, he was gonna make sure he won it. And I don't see that out of Jason Tatum. He played too much like
play too passive.
He played too much like a Duke University basketball player. That's what he played like. And you tell your daddy I said so. He played like a Duke University basketball player.
I'm a Duke fan. My dad hates Duke.
I hate Duke. And Jason Tatum played like a Dookie. That's why they lost. There you go.
He definitely played like a college player. I'll tell you that. He didn't show up.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Yeah. My thoughts, I felt like the turning point in my eyes was that game 4 because Boston looked like they had them dead to right. You take a 2-1 lead. You win this game, you pretty much are kind of smooth sailing. Yeah, the closeout games are going to be hard, especially with what we've seen in past few years in terms of 3-1 leads. But even then, you lose game 5 in Boston, you're still headed back to your home court in Boston in game 6. So
correct.
I feel like if Boston had won that game, they would have either won the series in 5 or 6 games. But, with everything that happened from the game 3 on, you could say the whole Draymond Green stuff got in their heads as well because he was, being very physical and stuff like that. Again, players not showing up when they needed to show up. Honestly, if you ask me, I would say the MVP of the Celtics in terms of the way they played all series is probably Jaylen Brown, he's a second guy.
For me, it was Robert Williams.
He was really good last night. He was really good last
night. For me, he was good throughout the entire series.
Oh, yeah.
I don't recall. I mean, Matt, you can probably let me know, but I just didn't see anything. I mean, this guy gutted out.
He was hurt the whole series. He was 75% this whole series.
He's been hurt the whole playoffs.
Yeah,
and
he
gutted
played
it out just to sit up here and back these guys up on defense who just couldn't stop dribble penetration.
Literally, Steph Curry went right by him and did those stupid layups, and I was just flipping out.
And then here it is, Marcus Smart, your defensive player of the year, for whatever reason. He couldn't cover Steph Curry at all.
Yeah, Marcus Smart becoming a head case.
Yeah, he started playing towards the referees, man.
You got to play ball the way you do, and he flops too much now, dude. Just play defense.
Just play. Dude.
And guys like Peyton Pritchard and Derek White, if they can't make threes, get them out. That's what they're good for.
Get them out.
If they can't make them, don't play them.
Get them out. Exactly. That's why they didn't play Grant Williams. He was.
He hasn't had 3 since Game 7 versus Milwaukee.
He was ineffective the entire series.
The first 2 rounds, I was like, Grant Williams is out to play. Then I don't think he made a shot since then.
But if you really think about it, who was he going to cover defensively?
Yeah, the Warriors, they're a good team. They're athletic. They're a good team.
It's easy to put Grant Williams on Giannis Antetokounmpo. Antetokounmpo is a North and South basketball player. The Warriors play East and West. Who is he going to cover?
Yeah, they spread the floor. They shoot. They get out and go.
Floor, they move the basketball. They don't dribble. When you
Tatum's probably dribbling way too much.
Man, Boston dribbled too much. Too much. They play too much ISO.
All right, guys, real quick. It'll be a quick cut, but we only have like a minute of this time limit for our Zoom recording there. When we get back, we'll finish our thoughts on anything Boston related, give our thoughts about Golden State, and then we'll be getting out of here for the video. But till then, see you in a quick cut real quick. Okay, in terms of anything Boston related, anything else we want to make sense, and I guess to add to the Peyton Pritchard and Derek White thing, like the one game I remember them actually being like really good was that game 1, and then after that they were completely taken out of the series.
Yeah, just irrelevant.
Relevant.
Yeah.
See, and that's what tells me that the Boston needs a facilitator. They need a facilitator bad. If you look at Golden State, who's pretty much the blueprint of how a team should be in today's NBA, Draymond Green is their facilitator. But at the same time, so is Steph Curry. So they have guys who can actually do certain things with the basketball to make others better. Unfortunately, the Celtics do not have such a player.
They don't.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if Jason can create a shot for himself anymore. So,
yeah. You know, and then last thing too is like when Boston lost that game 5, especially the way that Steph Curry was shooting the ball, like that was, I think, the one game in the series Steph Curry just had a poor shooting night. And if you can't get a game against the Warriors with Steph Curry shooting that poorly, then you kind of deserve to lose. And most importantly, you let Andrew Wiggins kind of be the guy that was dropping dunks on you and going crazy that game. And then,
well, they really paid a lot of attention. I'm not going to say Steph Curry had a bad game. I'm going to say the Celtics defense took him out. I'll say that because from what I saw, they hounded him throughout the entire game. They made sure that if they were going to win this game, then it wasn't going to be at the hands of Steph Curry. So the Celtics defense for me was just that good.
I think that's what you need to play the Warriors. I was honestly, I wasn't okay with losing game 5, but I said as long as Steph Curry doesn't beat us and someone showed up for them.
Yeah. Yeah. And then on top of that, because there was so much attention paid towards Steph Curry, the lane was wide open for guys like, you know, Thompson and Draymond Green, who really didn't have a great game offensively. But, you know, it was Andrew Wiggins. Yeah. It was Andrew Wiggins. The lane was wide open for him. And, you know, he coupled in the fact where he actually hit some outside shots as well, but they paid so much attention to Steph Curry, just open up the lane for other guys.
Yeah. I know even yesterday, they probably should have focused more on Steph Curry, especially when they were closing in on trying to come back with the lead, because in that game, you could say the other splash brother, Klay Thompson, he was terrible. And that was one point when I was just looking at the game like, they just keep feeding the ball to you know, Klay Thompson, they're going to lose the game. But if you give it to Steph Curry, he was amazing last night. He was pretty much doing whatever he wanted. He could get whatever he wanted to get. And he pretty much, you can say he kind of saved the Warriors from not losing game 6. Because if he doesn't have the outbreak he had last night in game 6, the Warriors more than likely lose. And we're getting game 7 on Sunday.
I think the Celtics were actually trying to keep game 6 Klay from showing up.
Yeah,
that's what I thought. They paid a lot of attention to Klay coming around screens, cutting, picking, and popping. They paid a lot of attention to Klay because I'm pretty sure they were aware of the game 6 Klay. And I know Klay really wanted to show out because it was game 6. So the Celtics, again, this is one of the reasons why when you have a really good coach whose specialty is defense, you need a really good staff behind him who can run offense. And I think that's what the Warriors definitely do have that with Ron Adams running their offense and Mike Brown running their defense. Well,
Mike Brown's going to be leaving for the Kings now.
He'll be back.
Probably.
He's just going up north for a little bit longer.
He'll be back. It's Sacramento. I mean, the grass is never always greener on the other side as it relates to, assistant coaches who win championships who decide to go elsewhere. The grass is not always greener.
Yeah.
He'll be back.
Yeah. But just getting away from Boston, yeah, they got some things they got to improve on, make some additions. So based on whatever point guard that's a facilitator out there, which it's not many, it's gonna be interesting to see how it is. Now, I do think Boston can be a top 3 Eastern Conference seed. We'll have to see. Like we said earlier, the Bucks are going to come back fully healthy, and they're going to be again wanting to get back to where they want to get back to. Brooklyn, you don't know what's legitimately going on there, so they're kind of a question mark. People are thinking Kyrie Irving might be traded out of there. I swear to God, if he goes to the Clippers, I'm going to kill myself. I hope he doesn't, because that's the highest odds he would go to. I don't know what that whole thing is, because they're like, we don't know if Kyrie Irving's committed or stuff like that. So Brooklyn's kind of question mark. And then also, just to tie this whole thing in, Kevin Durant is starting to look like an idiot for leaving Golden State in the first place. He probably should have just stayed there instead of going with the guy you can't trust. That was the same dude that left LeBron James. Like, come on, man. The Heat, they'll more than likely be back, but again, I think the Celtics can beat them in a 7-game series. They already proved it before. They'll do it again.
Yep.
And in turn, the Philadelphia 76ers, who cares?
They're talking about re-signing Harden.
Oh
my goodness, the 76ers, they cracked me up.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of any other teams. The Bulls, well, I don't know.
The Bulls can be good. The Bulls can be good. The only thing that I think the Bulls truly need, and we'll probably wind up re-signing Zach LaVine, which I'm like 50-50 on, especially for the kind of money he's going to command. Mm-hmm. We need a defensive coach. We need that more so than anything. If anything, Milwaukee showed us that, because Grayson Allen scoring 49 points in 2 games. For me, that tells me that there is no defense on your basketball team. So you need a guy that can get up in there and coach these guys how to actually play strategic defense. But if they can get that, the Bulls, it's going to be pretty interesting to watch next basketball season.
Yeah. The Raptors, they're a solid team. They'll always just be a nice, solid team. They just don't have
they don't have a number one.
They don't have a number one.
Nope.
Atlanta, sounds like they're blowing that whole ship up. Don't know what's going on there, but Trae Young, you got him tweeting, I want to win a championship. Well, you might need to leave Atlanta if you want to get out of there, because they don't. I don't know.
Boston, pay attention. I would not mind, let's just say, packaging somebody to go get Trae Young.
I honestly want to keep the Jays together, though.
I wouldn't. No. You got to keep them.
Yeah.
You got to keep them. But if you can add that third wheel to those two, I would not mind packaging a few players to go get them in a draft pick or two.
Same. I'd give them all the draft picks they want right now.
I wouldn't mind it. Wouldn't mind it at all. Well, you can at least rest assured Kyrie ain't coming.
I don't want him.
We don't want him either. No, I don't. Honestly, I don't think Kyrie's gonna be with the team next year.
Yeah, he's like an Antonio Brown.
Man, I don't think he's gonna be with a team like that. That last comment, something like, "I gotta pay to be on Earth."
Yeah. Cleveland Cavaliers, they're an up and coming team. They were solid, but they're still up and coming. They got some things to learn. Yeah. Charlotte, again, an up and coming. They look like that. I don't know what's going on there. Montrezl Harrell apparently got 3 grams of weed on him. Yeah. Got freaking Miles Bridges.
But they did pick up Kenny Atkinson.
I think he's going to be a solid developmental coach. He did good things for the Nets for them. when he was there.
Yeah.
I just think
he got to sit with Steve Kerr.
Yeah.
In Golden State. So I think, I mean, his biggest problem from what I read that he was a micromanager and players didn't like that.
Mm-hmm.
So he kind of ran himself out of New Jersey, but overall structurally he was a good coach.
I say Kevin Durant. I say more like Kyrie Irving ran.
Yeah. So let's see what he does in Charlotte. I think it was a good move.
Yeah, but I think with Charlotte, the only thing that gets in the way is sadly the GOAT, the greatest player of all time, and that's their owner of the team.
Michael's a great player, but
yeah, just going over. Yeah,
stop being a yes man, Mike. Go and let the experts run the team.
Yeah. Next, who cares? Washington. Only thing I care about is who cares why Bradley Beal won't get off the damn team, and go somewhere else.
They won't let him off the team.
I think it's a little bit of they won't let him, and he won't want to take the initiative. I think he's just happy getting the bag and just making the money living in Washington, D.C.
I mean, if they're gonna offer you $40+ million, man, yeah, 40 million is 40 million, no matter how you count it. Whether you count the nickels, dimes, pennies, it don't matter. It still add up to 40 million, 50 million a year.
Yeah, Pacers, they look like they might be rebuilding because apparently Miles Turner and Malcolm Brogdon, another potential point guard, could be in talks.
Small market won't work. They won't.
So we'll see. And then Detroit, they got, I guess you can say they got promising and just in Cade Cunningham, but I don't really think Detroit's going to do anything. You don't like Detroit, don't you?
No, I don't like Detroit.
And then Orlando, well, end of discussion.
Yeah, you mean the annual #1 pick?
Yeah.
Get the #1 pick every year.
Yeah. Yeah. Moving on to the Warriors. Again, you got to give credit where credit's due. With what they had to deal with for the past 4 or 5 years ever since Kevin Durant left them, injury after injury to Steph Curry, then injury to Klay Thompson.
Yep.
You're thinking, okay, they're done. Their run is done. But if anything, I feel like they got one or if not 2 more potential championships in their future. It just comes down because these guys are going to start aging, and Klay Thompson and Steph Curry and Draymond Green. But I would agree with a Warriors fan to say that this was probably their best championship in the 4 championships they've gotten as of late, just because they had to overcome all this adversity. And you really never truly thought they would never get back to this stuff again. You legitimately saw it in Steph Curry's eyes at the post-game press conference. I know you probably just turned it off, Matt. But you could see that this meant a lot to him. And the fact that he also finally won the one trophy that's eluded him in terms of MVP trophy, because Andre Iguodala won it first. Who won it the second time? Kevin Durant?
Kevin Durant won the next 2, and then obviously Steph with this one.
Okay.
For me, I'll say they got a couple more championship runs. I'm not going to go as far as predict championship because things are different from year to year. It's just such a long, drawn out process to sit up here and have to do it again and again and again. It's wearing, it's taxing on your mind, your body. It taxes you spiritually. It just is so taxing just to sit up here and play 82 games and then have to play 15 to 20 more. And the 15 to 20 more are so hard that some players just can't do it. Andre Iguodala, case in point. I mean, he suited up, but I think he only got 2 games in the entire playoffs. So I mean, it's hard, man. It's not. So I'll say they got a couple more runs in them. Whether they get championships or not, I think that's debatable. They got Wiseman coming back, so I think that'll be a good thing. How they work Wiggins' contract, that's going to be interesting. So. But I think the good thing is Phoenix is done, the Lakers are done, and so that should give them some kind of hope.
Yep.
I do have to go because of work. I just want to get my final take real quick. That's cool.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I do want to say because I was very negative about the Celtics, but they did a great playoff run, going through the Nets, going through the Bucks, granted without Will Middleton, going through Miami. And I had a fun time watching the playoffs this year. I had a great time. It was fun. I hope we go this far next year. It was a good time, but it definitely sucked when it ended. I don't even want to see Draymond in that picture. I'd rather see Jordan Poole down there. But I got to go. I have work. If I click leave, will you still be good, Cameron?
Yeah, I'm still good.
All right. Goodbye, Cameron. Goodbye, Mr. Winfrey.
Goodbye, buddy. Good seeing you.
Yep.
You too.
See ya.
See ya.
So, as we're ending off the video, which we're about to get to the end.
Keep going through the West, man. Keep going through the West.
Yeah. I'll go through the West.
The Lakers are gonna suck. I think Phoenix is done.
Mm-hmm.
Sacramento, good luck, Mike Brown. The Clippers are going to be interesting.
I definitely do think they're going to be interesting.
They're going to be interesting simply from the fact that I think Kawhi is going to come back and he's healthy. I think Paul George is going to be around healthy. You're going to have the Clippers are going to be interesting. So, and the thing of it, no one's talking about them. The Clippers are going to be interesting. So let's see how they go. Denver is going to be interesting. They're going to get Murray back. So they're going to be interesting. Minnesota, Memphis, they're all going to be pretty interesting to see how they add to what they currently do, whether it be a player. Dallas getting Christian Wood, to me, that just makes them the same basketball team they were last year. Luka's got no one to lean on. So I just really don't think much about, Dallas, although they were in the Western Conference Final. But the Clippers, for me, Clippers are going to be interesting, Ken.
Yeah. My thoughts on the Western Conference, Phoenix, they look like they're going to take a slump because Aiden's probably going to get up out of town and go somewhere else. I think with the fact that there was always the whole speculation, maybe he could go to Dallas. Well, they got Christian Wood, so what's the point of him going to Dallas now? So I think Aiden's more than likely might dip Phoenix, and if that's going to be a huge mistake, and the fall of Phoenix Sun is going to be really
good. I think the fall is coming for Phoenix.
Yeah. Memphis, I just think they need a second star. We've already talked about this in the past playoff videos because eventually John Morant's going to need somebody to rely on other than – because Jaren Jackson Jr., he's a solid player. Like, geez Louise, freaking Klay Thompson roasted that guy last night on his press conference. Yeah. He's a solid player, but I don't think he's number 2. I think he would be a solid 3, but I think they need another dude to help take off. Definitely, take the legs off of John Morant so he's not gonna get himself hurt, because if anything, he's looking like he's just one ACL injury away from potentially being the next Derrick Rose.
Russell Westbrook. They're similar players to what John Morant does, and both of them, actually, matter of fact, all 3 of them had serious injuries to their legs because they use their legs so much and their athleticism so much to explode. Now, the one thing Morant does better than those 2 is shoot the basketball. So there's hope that they can implement more of his shooting and more of his passing. But yeah, they need another guy.
Yeah. Dallas, again, I'm in the phase of they need another dude. Yeah, Christian Wood, I think he's going to be solid for Dallas, but
solid.
He's going to do nothing more than what he did for Houston this year.
That's correct.
He'll get you occasionally 15, 18, almost 20 points.
Now, if they had traded for Kevin Porter Jr., then I would have been like, oh, okay, maybe we are cooking here in Dallas. But no, man, Christian Wood, no, he's just another pick and roll, pick and pop kind of player. Plays some really good defense. It wouldn't have mattered a hill of beans with the Warriors anyway. Luka needs a clear number 2.
Yeah. Now they did trade a lot of players, and they traded, I think, the 26th pick for Christian Wood. I don't know, whatever. I saw that. I'm like,
salary cap.
Let's not pull the trigger. You could have easily
salary cap. Basically, a lot of people just really, don't understand the granted. You're not really trading players. You're trading money with the salary cap the way it is in the NBA. You have to come within a particular percentage of the total money that's being brought to your team. And you have to pretty much push out a similar amount of money that comes, I think, within 15% of what you're getting back. So that's that. For me, Christian Wood, I mean, it's nice, but is he a championship piece for the Dallas Mavericks? No.
Yeah, I still think they could potentially be a really still good, solid team. I just hope the Clippers don't face them again, because the last thing I need to hear is Luka Doncic taunting my Clippers again in the playoffs. Utah, they look like I don't know what's going on. I'm hearing things that Donovan Mitchell not happy the fact they fired Dan Snyder pretty much, even though Dan Snyder left willingly. And I'm like, no,
Quinn
Snyder.
Yeah, I thought he left. I didn't think he got fired.
He left. He left on his own accord, but I think it was a backdoor's way of him being fired.
Yeah. Either you leave gracefully, because we want to rebuild. This cap is really killing us. We won't have enough to sign Gobert. We really didn't have enough to keep Mitchell. And Mitchell and Gobert don't really like each other since the whole COVID thing. Yeah. And man. And then we're in Utah. Small market is just like, we gotta redo this thing.
Yeah, and apparently I'm guessing I guess I saw their new jerseys for next year. They look horrendous.
Well, they have a theme. They have a thing with bright colors. That's their thing. So
it's like it's a weird neon green like color. It's disgusting.
They've done neon. They've done that funky green, purple, orange. Yeah, they've done a lot of colors. But
Utah, they might be there, but I don't know what they're doing. It seems like
no, they ain't gonna be there. Trust me. I mean, Gobert's gone.
Yeah.
I think Mitchell's gonna be gone.
He's gonna be gone in a few years. Yeah. He might go to D Wade's old team.
Maybe.
Denver, they are gonna get Jamal Murray back. It's gonna be interesting to see how they look now with Jamal Murray getting back,
and Porter's coming back too.
Oh yeah, it's definitely he's definitely a guy that they need to watch out for in terms of his back injury, because
that's true.
He pretty much could be a back injury away from his career being over.
Is that why he's out? I thought it was.
That was why he was out. His back issue flared up again.
His back issue came back, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, but if Denver is really healthy, Denver is well coached. They got a really good structure around Jokic. They got really good players. Denver is a team that I would really like to watch.
Yeah. Minnesota, I think they're good as is. I just don't think they have the star power to take them above the next step. I definitely could see them in the playing game again this year. They got a solid foundation. Patrick Beverley definitely just made a culture of being grit and tough, but it's going to be very interesting to see where Minnesota goes, but I don't think they're going to do anything anyways. If anything, they're going to be a playing team again. We'll see how they
work. I don't really see Minnesota. I mean, first of all, Minnesota's not a destination for free agents, so they pretty much have to build from the draft anyway. But the only thing I can honestly hope for Minnesota is that Anthony Edwards evolves into a better version of himself that he played this year. He just has to keep evolving and keep evolving. That's the only hope for Minnesota to become, let's say, what the Warriors are right now, or what the Celtics are right now, what Milwaukee was last year, So they just have to evolve.
Yeah,
that's it. Memphis too, because I just don't think free agents are attracted to, Memphis, Tennessee, Minnesota, Utah. It's really difficult to get free agents to come out. New York, people just don't want to go there.
Yeah. A team that I think a lot of teams in the West should probably watch out, because they can definitely be a sleeper team in terms of just being in the bottom half of the standings, and that is the New Orleans Pelicans. They got a nice core around them. They got CJ McCollum right there. Brandon Ingram, he's been really good. Yep. And obviously the main piece of their puzzle that's missing, because they got a good core. They got Herbert Jones. He's a solid defensive player. Yep. Their coach,
what's his Adrian Griffin.
Willie Green.
Willie Green.
He really was really good this playoffs in terms of coaching. And he
Correct.
definitely inspired those players. But the one missing piece of the puzzle about this whole Pelicans thing of bringing it all together is the whole Zion Williamson factor. Can he stay healthy? Can he get under a solid enough weight limit to where he's not being taken out, he's not being hurt and everything? Because if anything, he looks like he's going to potentially be the next Greg Oden if he doesn't do anything this upcoming season. He says he's healthy.
He says he's healthy. Yeah. My thing is, if you're not healthy, and obviously he was out for health reasons, but I don't know if they wouldn't let him come back. Maybe it was healthy enough to come back. That's the reason why he's doing dunk videos on YouTube to prove to the Pelicans he could play. I don't know if that's the thing or not, but yeah, this guy, I would honestly think that there should be a set weight for him to be at. I'm pretty sure that the Pelicans has set that weight. He's just not at it.
Yeah. He needs to find a way to lose that weight, whether that's going.
Well, I do remember Anthony Davis did say when he left New Orleans, he said the hardest part about New Orleans is leaving the food. He was like, it's going to be it's really hard to play in New Orleans because that food is just so good. And with a guy like Zion, I mean, I'm pretty sure that he ate that New Orleans food and lost his ever-loving mind. He just couldn't give it up. So ballooned up to 300. And I mean, whereas his playing weight in college was what, 265?
I think so.
Yeah. So they got to do something to get the cat down. I mean,
and the Pelicans also have to make a decision on if they want to re-sign him, because I think he's coming up to, I think he's in the last year of his rookie contract. If not,
I think he's in the last year of his rookie deal.
Yeah. So David Griffin, he has to make a decision. Do he want to resign Zion, because it's kind of a risk with what you're going to do. So they were kind of fine. They were fine. They were fine without him.
And wouldn't he be eligible for a max? Not the super max, but maybe a max. Yeah. Okay. So I don't know if they're going to be willing to want to, drop 35, 40 million on, but he is an amazing talent. The question is, what's he got above the neck, in his chest, because that's another thing too. A lot of NBA players, they just ain't got it in that chest, man, so we'll see.
Yeah.
But the Pelicans are interesting.
Yeah, I definitely do think Zion might need to change his diet along with losing weight. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, that's obvious. Hey man, I know that gumbo good, Jack, but that etouffee, I gotta admit, that stuff is good. But dude, man, come on, man.
Yeah. My uncle mentioned the Clippers. My thoughts on the Clippers: I think it's going to be the most important season in their team's history. I've already mentioned that in tweets. I think with what happened the last time they made it to the playoffs and deep in the playoffs, which was the Western Conference Finals 2 years ago, the fact that you're getting Kawhi back, and a lot of people were saying, well, if Kawhi never got hurt and partially torn his ACL, the Clippers more than likely would have won it all that year, and I would have probably had a Clippers championship hat. But I think this is the most important Clippers season in their team history. And if they fail to not even make an NBA Finals, I think it's a complete disaster. I think the Clippers window is they got this upcoming season, and potentially next season. They're definitely high in their cap. So maybe Ballmer's just going to say, screw it. We're just going to go into luxury tax. And I'm guessing they're running it back. I do think the team needs to make some improvements. I think we can trade Marcus Morris away. I think we can make an improvement at the center position, but I guess we'll see. And I'll have to hope and pray that the Clippers can go the distance and they believe in this running back philosophy. Otherwise, okay. My mom's saying bye. Otherwise, it's going to be a thing, because I'm just of the opinion, if the Clippers at least just get one championship, even though it's in the LA market, you'll be in a new stadium and everything, you'll be able to entice a lot of free agents, say, oh, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, they want to chip with the Clippers. They did it. I could potentially do it too.
And also look at it like this. The Lakers are the Lakers are the Lakers, man. They're horrible. So with everything that's going on with the Lakers, next year is the Clippers' time. They need to take this stuff seriously.
Yep.
The term I've always used with the Clippers is testicular fortitude.
Mm-hmm.
If they can do that, then they can win. I think they can win it all next year.
Mm-hmm.
They can, because it looks like they're going to be healthy enough. They're going to have their main guys there. Everything is set for the Clippers to challenge the Warriors next year, and they can do it. I mean, the Lakers are just going to suck, man. They're just going to suck hard, especially considering they're bringing Westbrook back.
I'll talk about them in a quick second.
Yeah, they're bringing Westbrook back. I mean, I just can't fathom any scenario where the Lakers go and make a deep playoff run.
Yeah,
can't fathom it.
Even if they make the playoffs.
Even if they make the playoffs, I can't fathom a deep playoff run.
Yeah. And I know Ballmer, he definitely wants this team to get a chip before they go into the Intuit Dome in their new building, which is going to be the next state-of-the-art facility. They're talking about their scoreboard pretty much dang near like a freaking hyper smart TV, stuff like that. Something that's going to rival the freaking Rams scoreboard in SoFi. So,
really?
Yeah, I think they said it's going to rival that, whole little Halo thing. So they're going all out and everything. They want them. That's what happens when pretty much your owner is the owner of Microsoft. So yeah, definitely next year. I know I'm being, biased as hell, but the Clippers, I got them winning the chip next year. Again, no excuses. They better win a championship either next year or the year later before they get into the Intuit Dome. Otherwise, might as well just blow it up and just build through the draft. Unless Kawhi Leonard and Paul George want to stay around till they retire. That's kind of it. But
isn't Leonard a free agent?
Leonard, he already signed a new deal. He did
sign the new deal. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, like I said, I like the Clippers. I do think Golden State's got another one, maybe two more runs, and I'll say runs. I won't say championships. But if Wiseman comes back, then yeah, they can repeat as champions. Because that kid pretty much would have closed down everything the Celtics were trying to do with their dribble penetration. So the Warriors are gonna be really tough to eliminate next year. But I think the Clippers is one of the teams that can do it in addition to the Denver Nuggets.
The Spurs, they're kind of in a rebuilding like phase. It's only a matter. The only big news that's going to come out of them is when Popovich retires. That's the only big.
That's correct.
That's going to come out.
They missed out on the number one pick, but then again, there isn't a Tim Duncan. That was in this draft. There's not a David Robinson. That's in this upcoming draft. So unfortunately, they need bodies. And they don't have a lot of bodies.
Yeah. The only promising player they got is DeJounte Murray. He's good.
DeJounte Murray, that's it.
Yeah. But other than that, that's kind of just it. The other LA team. The moment I heard freaking Darvin Ham say, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna try to do my best to get Westbrook to get back to at least a player committed to playing defense," and I saw that, I'm like, "Oh, so you're committed to bringing them back? Well then, no problem, no issue here."
All right, it's gonna be another 30-win season.
And since they're very much tied into the cap between those three players, LeBron, AD, and Westbrook, well, their team's going to be looking similar. A bunch of washed up players that won't be able to do anything. Again,
and who wants to trade with the Lakers anyway? You think anyone's going to call the Lakers and say, "Hey, I got all these draft picks. Let me get Anthony Davis. I got all these draft picks. Let me get, Russell Westbrook. Yeah, we know he can't shoot and he has an attitude problem, but I think we can make something of him."
Yeah. So moving on from there, I think the Lakers ain't going to be anything. Sorry for Laker fans that hate this, but that's the truth is. You might as well
go into the next season talking championship. They're worse than the Dallas Cowboys almost. Or they're fans anyway.
Yeah. Sacramento, nobody cares. If you ask me, I don't know why De'Aaron Fox signed there. He should get out of town, whatever. Portland, don't know why Damian Lillard doesn't want out there. I don't even know what plan they got there. I feel like they're just going in a direction they don't even know what they're doing. We'll see. Okay, see, they're too worried about getting picks and thinking that
they're going to get them. They're going to get them. So I think OKC's plan is solid. Build a lot of draft capital, but at the same time, it's a small market.
Yep.
So
and you better hope these draft picks.
What you're going to do? You got to build through the draft. So there's nothing you can do.
Yeah. Although Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who used to be the Clippers player, I wish he stayed on the team. He's a really good point guard.
Yeah, he's a really good player. But with all of those picks, you kind of think that OKC is going to strike gold on one of them.
Yeah. I know they got Lou Dort. He's solid. Josh Giddey. He's also another good player as well.
Giddey is solid. Dort can't shoot, but he can defend.
Yeah. And then the last team, Houston. Who cares about Houston? I don't want to. Yeah. But other than that, guys, we're going to get out of here. If you guys like the video, leave a like. Put in the comment section your thoughts on the NBA Finals and your thoughts on this year of the NBA. Hit the subscribe button if you want to get more Camp for 15 Talk Sports. Next content coming on the channel is more than likely Angels content, which I predicted the free fall happened, and now they're damn near almost in 4th place. But good.
You mean to tell me you didn't see that coming?
I already saw it coming. I saw it coming a mile away. I knew the Angels weren't nothing. Anyways, expect Chicago Bears videos and NFL videos to come back up because I'm ready to talk about the Chicago Bears. And apparently,
yeah, me too.
Yeah. Louis Riddick, apparently he thinks the Bears might be the worst team in the NFL next year, but he's only saying that because his little buddy was Matt Nagy. But hey, it's okay, Louis.
And on top of that, he didn't get the GM job.
That's what I was about to say. He's just mad because he didn't get the GM job.
He wanted that job bad.
Yeah. So
so he could keep Matt Nagy.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably the reason why he didn't get the job. He probably walked up into that interview and said, "Hey, I think Matt Nagy can be a really good coach. All he needs is a little support." And they're like, "Oh, hell no. No."
So I might do a little rant video about that whole nonsense, but maybe not. I don't know. It's a little bit of my time, but yeah, can't wait to talk about the Bears. Just from the standpoint, I want to see how they look, how Justin Fields looks next year. And hell, if the team is going to be the worst team in the NFL, well, the one thing I'll like is we'll get the first pick. Well,
because we're writing off this season anyway. Honestly, I think we're writing off this. I'm not going to say we're tanking, but this season is just this is not the season. And I think next year is going to be the year when we have all of that cap room so that we can make that push. We'll probably wind up getting some more draft capital. Yeah, let's just go ahead and take it on the chin for this football season. Get a high draft pick, maybe trade it down, get some extra picks, and build this team the right way from the ground up.
Yep. And then, like I said, also want to talk just the NFL in general. So look forward to that. And stuff like that. And when NBA comes back, when NBA season comes back, we'll definitely be back to talk NBA basketball and stuff like that. But other than that, that's it for NBA basketball of the 2021-2022 season. And we'll be back for the 2022-2023 NBA season in October, more than likely. But other than that, guys, we're going to get out of here. Hopefully you guys have a good rest of your day, and hopefully you guys are staying safe out there. Until then, guys, catch you guys later. Peace.